I think one of the biggest downfalls of small businesses is they don't know what they should be tracking, right? Like if you don't know what you're supposed to be looking at, like if you're not tracking data, it's going to be really hard to measure success and failures because there's all these different avenues that we can succeed and fail in. And we need to understand what's working, what's not working on a more granular level rather than just as a whole, right? As a whole is very important, but
Right.
like we really need to understand what's driving business and then we can start tweaking what to do about it, right? So a lot of the content management systems like Shopify and WordPress has some tracking built into it.
Yeah.
Mostly it's like
Squarespace
plugins and
has a
stuff.
little, yeah.
Yeah, like they're going to have something and it's important, but like say for instance like Shopify is notorious for bad attribution, meaning
Mm.
saying what came from where. Like, so if someone came in from a social channel versus directly to your website by typing in your URL
Yeah. Through
and
Google Console, like searching.
searching.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So, like, they're notoriously bad for saying what came where. So, it's important to have multiple points of data so that you can understand, like, what's accurate, what's not accurate, and maybe it's somewhere in between. Right. And so, one thing that I always recommend to people is to set up two of the Google channels, which is Google Analytics and Google Search Console.
Mm.
Those are kind of the basics. And most of them these days are pretty easy as long as you have a Google account. Now, it's worth pointing out Google used to allow you to use your custom email address to
Yeah.
create just a free Google account. That is now gone. I
Mm.
think even just a couple months ago, they switched it and said if you want a Google account with a custom domain, so like
You need a Gmail
yourbusiness.com,
now?
you have to either pay for a Google Workspace subscription or you have to do a Gmail account,
Yeah, okay.
right? So get if you don't already have a Google account. I'm not talking Gmail. I'm just talking Google
Yeah.
because you can have a Google account but no Gmail, right? So if you have Gmail, you automatically have a Google account.
Right.
So if you don't already have a Google account with like your custom domain, either pay for Google Workspace or either get a new Gmail account or use an existing one and then sign up for it using that email address.
So how do you implement Google Analytics into your website? So if I have a website, I'm a small business owner selling handcrafted cutting boards on my website. I want to know who's coming to my website and where they're coming from. So Google Analytics, I know Google Analytics will help me with that. How do I implement that so I can actually see the results?
Right. So when you sign up for Google Analytics, it tries to walk you through as best you can, but what it will do is it'll generate a piece of code that you can easily just hit copy code
Oh,
and
nice.
then you can put it into your website and it kind of tells you where.
Mm.
Now, a lot of platforms make it even easier than that. So, like, we'll go with Shopify, for instance. Shopify and Squarespace are very similar in that it might allow you to link to your Google account.
Yeah, so it automatically does
So
it
it kind
for
of
you.
automatically does it. If not, Google Analytics will give you a code and say, put this in the header of your website before the closing whatever tag. You might not know what that
So it's the
is,
back end code of
the
the,
backend
yeah.
code, but a lot of these platforms that you're using to host and have your website, usually they'll say, "Oh, here's the place to put it on this," like,
Okay.
right? So, but yeah, a lot of them will make it pretty easy. So Google Search Console is another Google platform that I recommend setting up. Not only does it give you data about your website, but it also allows you to send information to Google to tell you, hey, Google, I exist, put this in your indexes.
Mm.
So that way or indexes, I don't think that's a word, indices or something, whatever. Like,
Into size?
yeah, yeah. So, but it'll say, Google, please index my website. So
Yeah.
you just give it your URL and say request indexing. And that just is a signal to Google to say, hey, crawl this web page. And if you think that it's good enough to rank, please rank it, right? That's kind of what
Yeah,
you're
okay.
telling it.
Yeah, yeah.
So those two are great. I would also, I mean, a big one that we mentioned in a previous episode is to track your keyword rankings to see like if you're looking for, like, what was the example you gave? Like the wooden
cutting boards.
custom cutting boards,
Yeah.
right? You want to know where you show up in the Google search results pages for custom cutting boards. Right now, you're going to want to rank for more than one keyword. You're ideally going to be looking at hundreds, right?
Yeah.
And you need a good place to be able to track that and to be able to see what's happening to those rankings over time. Are they going up? Are they going down? Are they kind of staying the same? Because that way you can then see, okay, if this keyword is going down, maybe I need to make some content behind that keyword and then, start ranking a little bit better. Or maybe I need to tweak that existing content that I have to make it more appealing to rank for this specific term. And so those are the three basic things that I would recommend to track as your keywords, your web traffic through Google Analytics, and also through Google Search Console.
So we kind of already talked about the what now. What do we do? So first, put it into your website for your Google Analytics.
Yeah,
that's like
first,
step one.
Create a Google account if you don't already have one.
Right.
And then second, link them to your website, whether that's through an app on like Shopify, whether that's putting in the tracking code into your website. And then the third thing would be registering for Google Search Console. And usually either in Analytics or Google Search Console, there's an opportunity to say link these two together.
Oh, nice.
And if you have the same email address for both of those things, it'll be very easy to link.
Awesome. And we'll have these on a blog post, so anybody can go to launchingpros.com and get the show notes basically of how do I track, and we'll have it linked into the description.
We'll show you where to go to create the Google accounts, where to go to start creating like Google Search Console Analytics, and also a list of recommended platforms to track your keywords.
Thanks for listening, guys. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment below on if you agreed with today's topic, disagreed with today's topic. Let's start a discussion to figure out the best practices to grow your small business.
Please visit us at launchingpros.com, where you can find more information on how to grow your business as an entrepreneur.